This video tutorial is on how to create and save a project. The project buttons on Video Surgeon are located down here in the lower right hand corner. And to help you try to understand the concept here between project buttons, which these are, as opposed to these buttons up here, which actually in some way modify the raw video, the thing to explain to you to begin with is these buttons do not in any way modify or change or edit the raw video. What they do is that they save settings that can be applied to the video, so that if you save those settings and then you reopen a project, when you reopen that project, it not only reopens the same video, but it applies those same settings to the video again. So let's put that into some concrete action so you can actually see it, and I think that'll help you better understand how it works. So for purposes of this demonstration, obviously we've got a video open here of a guitarist, and I'm going to set some arbitrary things here, and then we're going to save them. So first of all, let's just listen. Okay, so that's sort of what I would call normal speed, or not sort of, it is normal speed. We're at 100% tempo. So let's slow this down to, let's say, 50%, and let's just make certain that it is slowed down. I think you can hear that it is slowed down. The next thing let's do then is let's set some loop points. Let's set a beginning loop point, and let's set an ending loop point. And if you're saying, hey, wait a minute, you're going way too fast, the purpose of this video is not to show you how to set loop points or how to do any of these other things. There are other videos here on this page that show you how to do those things. This is to demonstrate to you how the project buttons really work. So that being said, let me get back to the original topic here, which is the project buttons. So we have now identified loop points, we have slowed the video down. So what happens, for example, is if this were a video that you wanted to make as a lesson, and you've set loop points in specific places because the next time you open it you want to be able to practice a lesson or practice this area defined by these loop points, and you want it slowed down, then you've got all those settings already in place. And then the other thing that you can do is you can open a notes window here, and you can type in Black Magic Woman Lesson 1. Okay, just for purposes of typing something, close it. And when we do that, now we've got notes saved as well. So let's go ahead now and save this particular project. And we really have two buttons here. We have the Save button and the Save As button. And these work just like a Save or a Save As button does on Word or Excel or any other program that you're used to. That being that if you have something that you've already named and you click the Save button, it will overwrite the changes using the same name. In this case, since we haven't saved this project with any type of a name, we're going to click Save As. We're going to give it a name. Let's call it Black Magic Woman. And let's click Save. And when we do that, it saves that particular video, it saves these loop points, it saves the notes, it saves all of those things. So let's clear everything here, and then let's open a completely different video just so we're certain that we don't have the original video still loaded. And okay, and then I'm going to go ahead now and we're going to open, and that's this button, open a project. Okay, and we saved this as Black Magic Woman, as you will recall. We saved it with loop points, and we saved it with the tempo at 50%, and we saved some notes. So let's go ahead and open that. And when we do it, look what appears. We have loop points. Let's look at the tempo setting. The tempo setting is at 50%. Let's look in the notes. The notes say Black Magic Woman Lesson 1, which is what we typed. So you can see here what we have essentially done is saved a video with some data as a project, and then once we've saved that project, we've reopened it, and the same video appears on the screen with all the same settings as previous. So that's how these project buttons work, and let me just run through them one more time with you. This is the open button, this is the save, this is the save as, and this is the notes. So if you want to open a project, you click this. It'll give you a typical Windows dialog box. A Video Surgeon project file is a .vsp file, so it would be one of those. If you have a project like this one, which is something you've already saved and you want to make changes, let's say you want to move the loop points. So for instance, let's remove these completely and let's set different loop points. Let's set them there, and then let's set an ending loop point here. So now we've got different loop points, but as you remember, we've already saved this as blackmagicwoman.vsp. So this time, instead of clicking Save As, unless you wanted to save it with a new name and perhaps make yet a second lesson from this, if you want to just overwrite the existing settings, and let's leave these here and then move the tempo up to 400. Not that we'd ever use it at that level, but simply because it will allow us, once we reopen it, to see that indeed we've saved these settings. So now let's click Save and overwrite the existing settings. And now that we've done that, pitch 400, beginning and ending loop points here. So they're different than what they originally were. So let's go ahead and File, Open. Let's open this file again. And as you can see, we now have these new loop points and we have the tempo at 400. So I think that illustrates fairly clearly for you the role of the project buttons. Just remember that they do not change or edit or modify the raw video data in any way, shape, or form. They simply remember settings that are applied to the data so that you can reproduce the same project that you might have opened last time on the screen. While these buttons up at the top, especially this button here, when you get into it, and again I'm getting a little beyond the scope of this video, but in this particular screen you can actually do some editing. For instance, if you want to change the original size of the video, you can. If you want to change the bit rate, which will affect the quality, if you want to change the audio bit rate, which will affect the quality of the audio, all of these things can be done up here, and therefore these buttons really edit the video in some significant way, whereas these buttons down here as project files don't. They simply record or remember original settings. So that concludes this video. Please look at the other videos on this page if you'd like more information about Song Surgeon and some of its basic functions. Thanks.